Namaskar and thank you for tuning in to Express News. I'm Mark Lynn. Let's begin with the national news first. Prime Minister Narendra Modi inaugurated the Rising Northeast Investors Summit 2025 in New Delhi today. The Prime Minister expressed pride, warmth and immense confidence in the future of the Northeast region. The two-day event from May 23 to 24 aims to highlight the Northeast region as a land of opportunity, attracting global and domestic investment and bringing together key stakeholders, investors and policymakers on a single platform. The summit will include ministerial sessions, business-to-government and business-to-business meetings and exhibitions of policy and related initiatives taken by the state and central governments for investment promotion. Prime Minister highlighted that there was a time when the Northeast was merely called the frontier region, but it's now emerging as a front runner of growth. Reaffirming that peace and law and order are the most crucial factors for any region's development, the Prime Minister said that the government has a zero-tolerance policy towards terrorism and insurgency. Emphasizing the critical role of Eastern India in achieving a developed nation, the Prime Minister said that East is not just a direction, but it's a vision which stands for empower, act, strengthen and transform. Mukesh Ambani, Chairman and Managing Director of Reliance Industries Limited, underscored that the Northeast is not just rising, but roaring, adding that Reliance will double its investments in the region. Addressing the Border Security Force investiture ceremony in New Delhi today, Home Minister Amit Shah said that Operation Sindoor is the answer to the Pahalgam attack, and today the world is praising the bravery of the Indian Armed Forces. The Home Minister also said that Pakistan has proved that it sponsors terrorism when it considered India's attacks on the terrorists as an attack on itself. The minister credited the successful Operation Sindoor to the government's strong political will, accurate information from the intelligence agencies, and the amazing display of the armed forces. India's aviation watchdog, the DGCA, has confirmed that Pakistan's air traffic control in Lahore denied emergency airspace access to an Indigo flight that was going to Srinagar, which was in distress. The third all-party delegation, led by the DMK Member of Parliament Kani Modi, arrived in Moscow. The delegation was received by India's ambassador to Russia, Vinay Kumar. During the course of their stay in Moscow, the delegation interacted with senior dignitaries from the Federation, Council and also the State Duma of the Federal Assembly of the Russian Federation and other key interlocutors in think tanks and the media. The UAE and Japan have expressed solidarity with India in its fight against terrorism as all-party delegations' diplomatic outreach commenced on Thursday. A delegation led by Shiv Sena MP Shrikant Eknath Shinde held talks with the UAE, and the delegation met Sheikh Nahyan Mubarak Al Nahyan, the Minister of Tolerance and Coexistence. All-party delegation from India, led by Sanjay Jha, met Fukushiro Nukaga, Speaker of the House of Representatives of Japan. Nukaga, in fact, reiterated his support for India's unified national resolve to combat terrorism. The External Affairs Minister, Jai Shankar, met Germany's Minister of Economy and Energy, Katharina Reich, in Berlin on Friday. And the two leaders discussed ways to enhance talent linkages, industry partnership and joint collaboration to build more resilient supply chains. The External Affairs Minister also met the Foreign and Security Policy Advisor to German Chancellor Dr. Gunther Soter, and they exchanged perspectives on major global issues, including combating terrorism. The CGI Shanghai organized a well-attended curtain raiser event celebrating International Day of Yoga 2025 at the campus of the Indian pharma major Dr. Reddy's Laboratories Limited in Kushan in Suzhou. India's Railway Minister Ashwini Vaishnav addressed a function in Jamalpur in Munger, and he said that the railways have achieved self-reliance by adopting electrification on a war footing. Let's get you some business-related news now. The benchmark Indian equity indices ended the week, the last trading session of the week, in a positive territory. The Sensex had climbed 769.09 points and settled at 81,721.08. The Nifty 52 settled higher by 243.45 points or 0.99% at 24,853.15. Gold prices rose in the domestic futures market due to positive global cues. The MCX Gold June 5 contracts saw a 0.10% increase at 95,631 per 10 grams. The Indian rupee also saw good gains on Friday. Currently, it's quoting at 85.70 against the US dollar. That's up 25 paise on the day. Brent crude, the global oil benchmark, fell 0.65% to 64.02 US dollars per barrel in futures trade. US stocks finished a little changed on Thursday, erasing initial declines as the Treasury yields eased off recent highs after the passage of Trump's tax and spending bill. The S&P 500 lost 2.60 points, while the Nasdaq Composite gained 53.09 points. The Dow Jones Industrial Average fell 1.35 points. It closed at 41,859.09. Colombia has halted avian imports from Brazil because of bird flu outbreak. This is to minimize the risk of illness in that country. Now, Brazil began a 28-day bird flu observation period on Thursday. The Taliban administration is in advanced talks with Russia to allow banks from both countries to carry out direct trade transactions worth hundreds of millions of dollars in local currencies. Deutsche Bank CEO Christian Sewing has called 2025 a year of reckoning for Germany's largest bank as it faces a deadline to meet ambitious targets on costs and profitability. Some international news now. Frustrated over recent developments, the chief advisor of the interim government of Bangladesh, Professor Mohammed Yunus, is considering stepping down. As per local media, Yunus voiced his desire to resign and address the nation through a televised speech during unofficial discussions at an advisory council meeting on Thursday. The United Kingdom has signed a deal to hand over sovereignty of the Chagos Islands to Mauritius in an agreement. Under this deal, the UK can continue leasing the largest of the islands, Diego Garcia, keeping the key military facility in British and American hands for at least 99 years. India welcomed the signing of the treaty between the United Kingdom and the Republic of Mauritius on the return of the Mauritian sovereignty over the Chagos archipelago. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu strongly condemned the brutal killing of 2 Israeli diplomats in the United States, describing it as a cold-blooded act. Elias Rodriguez, a 31-year-old Chicago resident, has been charged with 2 counts of first-degree murder after gunning down 2 Israeli embassy staffers in Washington, D.C. The victims, Yaron Lisinski and Sarah Lynn Milgram, they were a couple and they were about to get engaged. The Israeli embassies around the world have immediately stepped up security. A U.S. federal judge has extended a block on mass layoffs across government agencies, stalling a sweeping plan to downsize the federal workforce. The U.S. administration's efforts were aimed at slashing nearly 260,000 jobs, targeting departments like Veteran Affairs and Health and Human Services. The U.S. President Donald Trump's administration has revoked Harvard University's ability to enroll international students, throwing the academic futures of thousands into chaos. The Homeland Security Secretary, Kristi Noem, has ordered the department to terminate Harvard's Student and Exchange Visitor Program certification. The White House has said that the US President Donald Trump and the Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu discussed a potential deal with Iran in a call on Thursday. The fifth round of indirect talks between Iran and the United States will be led from the United States' side by the Special Envoy Steve Witkoff in Rome today. The Iranian Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi said in a televised interview that if the United States aims to end uranium enrichment, then there will be no nuclear deal. China and the Philippines have accused each other of wrongdoing after a confrontation between two of their vessels in contested waters off the South China Sea. The Philippines Fisheries Bureau said the lives of a civilian crew were put to risk when the Chinese Coast Guard fired water cannons and sideswiped a vessel in the disputed South China Sea. Slamming the Trump administration's move to revoke the right of Harvard University to enroll foreign students, the Chinese Foreign Ministry, has said that China will safeguard the legitimate rights and interests of overseas students and scholars. South Korea is set to hold a snap presidential election on June 3 to choose the successor of the former President Yoon Suk-yeol, who was impeached in December. The Russian President Putin said on Thursday that Russian forces are working on establishing a security buffer zone along the country's border with Ukraine. We're heading for a short break now. We'll be back with Express News in just a bit. Stay tuned to DD India. Geopolitics and trade deals. Economic challenges amid development. Hard work and the path to prosperity. It's the economy, always. Between walkers, money is what money does and says. Supply creates its own demand. Between the bulls pulls and bears tears. When supply chains globalization and India rises to the podium, we'll get you centered with the Economic Brief at 8 p.m. every Thursday on DD India. Welcome back. You're watching Express News on DD India. Let's resume. News related to the weather now. At least 4 people have died and 17 remain missing after torrential rain triggered landslides in China's southwestern Jiangsu, the province. On Thursday, 2 people died in Shaanxi province as well. Now, authorities have also issued risk warnings for geological disasters in nearby areas. China is facing hotter and longer heat waves and unpredictable heavy rain due to climate change. The U.S. National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration said on Thursday that they expect an above-normal hurricane season this year, producing 3 to 5 major hurricanes. The Atlantic hurricane season, which begins on June 1, is forecast to produce 13 to 19 named tropical storms with winds of at least 39 miles per hour, and 6 to 10 are forecast to become hurricanes with winds of 74 miles per hour or higher. There is also a 30% chance of a near normal season and a 10% chance of a below normal season. The forecast cites a confluence of factors like neutral conditions in the El Nino Southern Oscillation climate pattern. A video captured on Friday showed major flooding in Taree, which is a city in Australia's New South Wales, that is, after 3 days of heavy rains. Now, the incessant rain cut off entire towns. It swept away livestock and destroyed homes. The death toll from flooding in southeastern Australia has risen to 4 after the body of a man was found in a car trapped in floodwaters on Friday. Authorities have urged residents to evacuate the area. The Australian Prime Minister Albanese said that he had to cancel his planned visit to Taree, one of the worst hit towns due to floodwaters. The Manning River in Taree had exceeded a 100-year-old flood record. The India Meteorological Department has predicted Delhi's skies will remain partly cloudy with increased chances of rain and thunderstorms on Friday and Saturday. Srinagar city recorded the highest maximum temperature in the month of May in nearly 6 decades on Thursday as the temperature settled at 34.4 degrees Celsius. Some features and entertainment-related news now, and Hanoi ranks first in Asia and 9th globally in Time Out's list of top cultural destinations for 2025, known for its rich heritage, vibrant street life and diverse cuisine. The city now aims to welcome 31 million tourists this year. Over 160 modern masterpieces are on display at the Guangdong Art Centennial exhibition, which is running until the 2nd of June at the Hong Kong Convention Center. The 8-scroll Pine Greets Guest by Lingnan artist Li Chiong Chai is the largest piece at this exhibition. It features white herons. It blends traditional Chinese ink as well with oil painting techniques. Sotheby's is showcasing rare items from Napoleon's life in Hong Kong before they go on sale in Paris this June. Visitors can see personal artifacts, belongings of the French emperor. Chonzin Angmo from Himachal Pradesh made history as the first visually impaired woman to reach the summit of Mount Everest. She completed the climb with Lakshmikanta Mondal and Geeta Samota. Before Everest, Chonzin Angmo had scaled peaks in Ladakh, including the 19,717 feet summit. Despite losing her vision at 8, now she was honored with the 2024 National Award for her achievements. Tor Alba, one of the world's tallest 3D printed structures, was unveiled in the small Swiss village of Moulenges. This happened on Wednesday, and the tower is in fact designed to serve as a cultural hub. The International Day of Biological Diversity carried the theme "Be Part of the Plan" in Kongdao, which is a message also coming through that life as locals protect nesting sea turtles. They highlighted the link between nature and sustainable living. Hong Kong's MTR line is back to normal after a circuit breaker trip and also a signal glitch which halted service yesterday. The trains have resumed in the early hours of the day. At Madrid's Prado Museum in Spain, it held a ceremony to return artworks seized by the Franco regime. This happened during the Civil War. A new bas-relief of Joseph Stalin has been unveiled at the Moscow Metro decades after its removal. At the University of Maryland's graduation, Kermit the Frog encouraged students to stay connected to their dreams, delivering a heartfelt and humorous speech. Prince William and Princess Kate participated in the naming ceremony of the Royal Navy's new warship, HMS Glasgow. A new documentary series, Guardians, hailing the work of wildlife rangers and featuring Britain's Prince William, is being broadcast on Friday. As the 5-year anniversary of George Floyd's murder approaches on Sunday, George Floyd's cousin leads tributes in Texas. Flowers and tributes left outside the store where Floyd was killed. A new interactive exhibition opened in Lima and San Martin in Peru on Thursday, and it brought visitors closer to one of the most challenging archaeological sites to visit, nestled in the Peruvian Amazon. Asian stars walked the Cannes red carpet at the festival. Its completion is heating up. In fact, several Asian movies are set to be premiered. Several Asian movies, they are set to be premiered in the festival this year. Aishwarya Rai Bachchan made a stunning appearance at the red carpet, and she donned a cape over her gown featuring the Bhagavad Gita shloka and also to add depth of the Indian wisdom at Cannes. The Danish-Norwegian filmmaker Joachim Trier's Sentimental Value was premiered on Wednesday. The film marks the return of Trier to the Cannes main competition this year. The Iranian director Saeed Roustai and the cast of Women and Child walked the red carpet at Cannes. The film, in fact, is in the competition segment, and it's also up for the main prize, the Palme d'Or. The French director Cédric Clapiche walked the Cannes red carpet for the screening of his film Colors of Time. The Chinese director Bi Gan returned to the Cannes on Thursday for the premiere of his post-apocalyptic tale on memory. It's called Resurrection, and the film, in fact, takes viewers on the journey through a monster's dreams. With the collection curated in collaboration with indigenous Colombian community, this year's Bogota Fashion Week aims to put Colombian art and fashion in the international spotlight. Louis Vuitton did a fashion show at France's Palais des Papes. This happened in Avignon, which the American singer and songwriter Pharrell Williams, the French First Lady Brigitte Macron attended this event. Lola Young Getz and Bourbon, they were among some of the music stars walking the red carpet at the IWAS Award in London on Thursday. Let's get you the sports news to conclude. Mitchell Marsh notched up his maiden century in the Indian Premier League as the Lucknow Super Giants beat Gujarat Titans by 33 runs in Ahmedabad to end a 4-match losing streak. With an aim to finish in the top two, the Royal Challengers Bengaluru will face Sunrisers Hyderabad in Lucknow on Friday. RCB's pacer Josh Hazelwood is expected to make a return to IPL 2025 for the playoffs after coming through a period of rehabilitation as a shoulder niggle had caused him some trouble in Australia. Now, the former Sri Lanka captain Angelo Matthews on Friday has announced his retirement from Test cricket after the first match against Bangladesh. After breaching the highly anticipated 90-meter mark last week, the Indian javelin superstar Neeraj Chopra will be back in action against Janusz Kuszocinski, and this is for the Memorial 2025 in Poland on Friday. The Indian shooter and Olympian Raisa Dillon won the silver medal in the women's skeet event at the ISSF Junior World Cup in Germany. In badminton, India's Kidambi Srikanth entered the semi-final after beating Toma Junior Popov in the quarterfinals of the Malaysian Masters in Kuala Lumpur on Friday. The Croatian star Luka Modric has announced that he will leave Real Madrid following this summer's FIFA Club World Cup. The Liverpool forward Mohamed Salah and the Arsenal striker Alicia Russo have received their Footballer of the Year awards at the Football Writers Association ceremony. England forward Russo received the award after enjoying a successful season in North London, clinching the WSL Golden Boot Award with 12 goals and helping her side reach Saturday's Champions League final against Barcelona in Lisbon. The Brazilian forward Rafinha has signed a contract extension with Barcelona that will see him remain at the Spanish champions until 2028. In tennis, Novak Djokovic defeaed Matteo Arnaldi 6-4, 6-4 to reach the Geneva Open semi-finals and continue his pursuit for a 100th career title. In the Hamburg Open, the third seed Andrei Rublev reached the semi-finals for the third time as he beat Italy's Luciano Darderi 6-1, 3-6, 6-3. Emma Navarro and Paula Badosa, they crashed out of the Strasbourg International Tennis Tournament following respective defeats in the quarterfinals. Let's get you the basketball news. And Shai Gilgeous-Alexander has been presented with the NBA Most Valuable Player Award before Game 2 of the Western Conference Finals. That's all we have in Express News. Thank you for watching. Namaskar.